I recently met and was magnetically drawn to Dimple Thakrar, a mellifluous voice with a British accent, and she's a charismatic public speaker. She's sought after for her expertise as a dietitian on TV and stages across the globe. She's also a best-selling author of Food Freedom and a celebrity love and relationship coach. Today, we're gonna peel back some of the layers and really get to know Dimple. She's gonna dish me the stories of her life's journey that helped shape who she is today. And I'm gonna dish her some delectable Indian bites. Dimple is here. Welcome to Dishin'It. Oh my God, so tiny.
So good to see you.
Look how beautiful you look. Oh my God, please come out here. Maybe I'll put your coat here. Thank you for coming. I'm making a beautiful mata paneer for my girlfriend, Dimple Thakrar. I can't wait to make her foods that harken to her background. I know she wanted mata paneer, which is a fresh farmer's cheese with peas, and I wanted to make it really authentic. So I invited my friend Sean Nagpal. He owns a restaurant. I've known him for over 20 years here in Larchmont. It's called Coriander. He's also Forbes 30 Under 30, where we're gonna get into the kitchen and make some yummy mata paneer. I am so happy that you're here, Sean. I want you to talk to me about mata paneer. What is mata paneer? What makes it so amazing?
Yeah, it's an Indian dish, primarily cooked in North India, specifically Punjab, which is where my family and I are from. So Matar Paneer is one of those classic home-style comfort food dishes that is in every Punjabi household, and every Punjabi household knows how to make this dish.
So I added the shallots and I added the ginger and garlic paste.
Yep.
And now I'm gonna add the tomatoes.
Go for it.
I think I'm gonna add salt and pepper,
Okay.
a little bit, and then I'm gonna save some for later. And I'm gonna let this kind of cook itself a little bit. And then we're gonna blend it.
What you're making here is what in the Indian restaurant world we'd call your tomato mother sauce. It's the base of almost every dish. It's fresh tomatoes, ginger and garlic, spices. Their color is perfect on that, by the way.
Really?
It is perfect, spot on. That is exactly how my mom or my grandmother would have made it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very, very home style. It's perfect, the color.
Now you're making me excited.
Is that a magic bullet?
It is a magic
That's
bullet.
so good, right? I just got one.
Gosh.
Yeah. So,
I have all sizes.
yeah?
Okay, so now I'm gonna add oil to the pan and cook all the spices in there.
See, that's how you know you're doing it right, when it's all chunky like that.
Now I'm gonna fold it and then I'm gonna add more spices.
You know, when I first met you, I was always curious why you liked Indian food so much. It always seemed like it was one of your favorites, if not your favorite.
It is my favorite.
It is your favorite, okay.
I think that the flavors are so intoxicating, and when no thought happens except the happiness and the magic of the food and the flavors in your mouth.
It's a good way to put it. You'll never find two Matar Paneers that are identical. You could make it more of a gravy style, or you can make it more of a curry style. So a little looser, more sauce, or a little thicker and more hearty. It just depends on your mood. There it is, the star of the
Here
show.
it goes. The star of the show. I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle some salt and black pepper.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna add the garam masala.
You know, garam masala is another one of those things though. People have their own garam masala mixtures, especially in different parts of India. South Indian garam masala is totally different. The base of it is always going to be the same, like you mentioned, the allspice, you know, basically having a little bit of every spice. Some people have an omission of red chilies. It's much more of an art, which is what cooking should be at the end of the day.
And I'm gonna add now the yogurt,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Right.
The dairy component.
I'm gonna add a little heavy cream right now. Hold on.
Heavy cream.
Heavy cream.
Let's do it.
We're gonna do it. And we're gonna add some cilantro.
Yes.
And now I think we're gonna try it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mmm. Oh my gosh.
Delicious. I got a pop of the peas. I got the softness of the cheese. That rhymed. We're perfect. The sauce is on point. I love
And
it.
Dimple's gonna love it.
I think she absolutely will. You did great.
So Dimple, you said that you were conceived in Uganda.
Yes.
So tell me about that and how that affected your life.
That for me was the pinnacle of my heritage because my mother, she was 25, she had a 5-year-old, 7 months pregnant with me, President Amin has just decided overnight he's kicking all the Indians out. And overnight, she had to leave without her husband, not knowing whether she would ever see her husband again, because that's the decision that he made, so that he could try and gather all as much as they could, because they would have to start again.
And now you head to what country?
To England.
To England. No money, nothing, just run and go.
Run and go. They had to go into a refugee camp. It was overnight, because luckily we had a network of family and friends. It turned out that my husband's family and my family were very good friends in Uganda. So his family and my family lived in the same town, Bolton. Because my mother didn't have absolutely nobody of her own, per se, my husband's father said, "I will take care of you like you're my sister. I will provide a safe home for you wherever, whenever you need." And he did.
I'm just getting chills all over, right? I'm getting chills because you're not even born yet, and now the families already meet. So it was kind of like predestined for you to end up together.
Well, here's the interesting piece. I told my husband basically became our protector, and that's why he had such a beautiful relationship with my mum, because he was the son that she never had.
At some point, your relationship with your husband shifted from brotherly to in love. Tell me about that.
It was so interesting. I remember it to the detail. So I was stood at my bedroom window and he was sat on the bed, and I was dressed in the most ridiculous the most unattractive clothes. I had this big multicolored red and green jumper on, and then these shorts that were red and blue checks. It was all a bit and I'm just stood chatting away, and he's my best friend, so he's always got my back. And then he just came up to me and kissed me. Honestly, Vivian, oh my God. I remember the feeling to the day, and that was 30 years ago. And I just knew I had met my soulmate, and he's always protected me. He's always protected my family, my sisters. So we got married when I was 22, and my mum started to get ill in November, suddenly. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer Valentine's Day, and she passed away on the 16th of March. So it was really fast. And really things started to turn for us as a couple. So we had just been married, and the day of my mum's funeral, Atul had a huge row with me, to the point where he stopped the car that we were in and got out of the car and was screaming at me. It was in that moment that I made a story that he's an idiot and how dare he treat me like that.
What was he arguing about? Because it seems to me he's been a protector right up until this point, and he came into your life not only early, but he's been there at a pivotal moment of your life when your mom just died.
Yes, we were arguing because I blamed the doctor for Mum's premature death. And that doctor was his dad's best friend. And he was like, it's not the doctor's fault. Stop blaming the doctor, because his integral need for the truth was more important than me living a lie. He was present in his masculine protector. Had he have sided with me, I would have always thought I could get away with anything and everything. I didn't even take a moment to consider that he lost a mum too. And he was angry and upset and frustrated, and men show that differently. I interpreted that as anger towards me.
Now you're in the thick of a whole different dynamics in a relationship.
Yeah, and so basically what happened was, I didn't want children, he wanted children. We ended up having children. Cut a long story short, they're the biggest gift I could ever have dreamt of. He was right again.
How do you go from I don't think so to I'm so blessed?
That took time. I had severe postnatal depression after both kids. And I think it's a lot to do with me not having my mother around, and a lot to do with me not wanting children. And a lot to do with me resenting him for making me have children. Ridiculous, because I'm an adult and I can have my own choices. So I took a job as a dietitian in the health service. Brilliant job, loved it. So I did that for 5 days a week, and then I also took on a job in a private hospital on a Saturday. So I worked 6 days a week and I had a baby. And he was constantly at work from 6 a.m. till midnight, building the business. There was a dynamic shift in the masculine and feminine.
Well, how do you break free of that? Because that is what happens everywhere.
Yes, it does. Number one, it's being aware. Masculine and feminine isn't about man and woman. So masculine and feminine is about where you're comfortable. I roughly felt like I was operating at 80% masculine energy and 20% feminine energy. And so it's about being in your authentic energy at rest. So that doesn't mean to say that when I need to be focused and get things done, I don't go into my masculine. Of course I do. Otherwise I'd be floating around the whole time and I wouldn't be a successful businesswoman. But my power is in my feminine. So if I spend my whole time, most of my time in my masculine, I'm gonna have pain in my body.
It's a survival technique, isn't it? But it doesn't serve us?
No, it doesn't, because then you live through 20 years of pain.
So then what did you do?
I built up more stories about how much he wasn't there for me, and I didn't notice when he was. Because we get very good at building up evidence and stacking evidence for what we want to believe. And we get really bad at not stacking the evidence of the good stuff. I was frustrated, he was frustrated, and there was a complete miscommunication.
So at this point, the relationship is at its worst. How much worse did it get before it got better?
Okay, so on our 20th wedding anniversary, we decided that we were going to get divorced. We were like past the salt conversation, and he stayed away and I did my own thing. Cut a long story short, I find myself going to a Tony Robbins event and dragging my man there, even though that same time it was his brand new company that he'd just taken over, a trade show in France, and this was in Maui, and he had to choose between letting down 150 people or me. What does he choose? Does he choose work or love?
He chose love?
He chose love. And I don't think I would have in that situation, if I'm honest. So we went along to that. He has no clue about who Tony Robbins is. Never been to an event. I've been to about 5 events prior to this and got lots of lovely friends. So I sit on the front row with all my buddies. He doesn't know anybody there. All day that day he's trying to comfort me. All day that day he's trying to make me feel better. And I'm going, just F off. I don't need you. I don't need anybody. And here's the peace. Atul came from nowhere. And he's walking down the aisle. Tony's like this with me. Oh, like that with me. And Atul came from nowhere like this. What do you think he's doing?
He rose to protect you.
That's what he was doing. But here's the piece, Vivian, and this is what I want all the women and the men in the world to realise. I didn't notice Atul. It took for Tony Robbins to stop what he was doing with me, turn around and say, is this the man you're talking about not forgiving? Is this the man? I just saw him face his fear and step into courage. And he's walked down here to take me down for you. And he put his arm around him and he said, I effing love this brother. I I adore this man for who he is and what he stands for. I didn't notice him. So if I didn't notice him then, what else have I not noticed over the last 20 years? What else? This beautiful man has always been there to protect me, and all I did was expect and not appreciate. And I demasculated him through criticizing him, through controlling him, and through telling him what to do.
If you hadn't gone to that event, then you wouldn't have noticed your husband.
And I wouldn't be the incredible role model that I am for my kids, because it turned around like that when we got home.
What are some of the red flags or signals that people looking in can glean in from your experience?
Okay, so brilliant question, thank you. The things that I would say to you are, if you're spending more time expecting from them than you are appreciating them, it's doomed. Focus on the good. So if you focus on the good, you'll just get more of it. You'll attract more of it. Think about what you can give in your relationship and prioritize it. Take time to work on it. The reason I do this work now, the reason I save marriages past, present and future, is because I want children to have incredible role models. I want it to be the norm that that lovely cute 80-year-old couple that you see still holding hands, still kissing each other in public, is the norm.
I just love when people celebrate love. There is a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
I do a lot of work for my relationship.
Yes.
I read, I study, I go out and I
Yes.
do, like you.
Yes.
And I'm an eternal student, and I don't want to give up because I believe in the romance of love. And how much more romantic can it get? I will be able to say, I'm with this beautiful human who loves me and that I love back
Yes.
for X amount of time.
It's so easy and it can happen so quickly. It's just a flick of a switch. I have an online course that's 8 weeks from pain to passion. In 8 hours, over 8 weeks, you can turn it around.
That's why I wanted you to be here, because you have such a beautiful story that you're writing and you're changing people's lives in the whole process, and we all need guides. I read your book and it's so fascinating. You discovered a correlation between food and relationships to the self and to others around you.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I had a horrendous relationship with food when I was a child, and because of that struggled with anorexia, and I got through it, and I didn't want anybody else to have that. There's so much stuff that the media puts out there, and it's so difficult to know what's the truth and what's not. And so that is the reason I wrote Your Food Freedom. That is the reason I developed the model, the book, to help you have a healthy relationship with food. So I developed a structure, a system that you can reprogram how you relate to food and yourself. It helps you get back in touch with your hunger signals and your full signals. And I always balance my plate out in a way that is both nourishing and filling.
Let's plate and let's sit
Yes.
down and let's eat and let's chat.
Yeah. Shall we eat?
Yes.
Cheers. Let's tuck in.
It's my first time making it.
Delicious.
And I just Googled it and I decided I'm gonna go for it because I wanted to make you a proper Indian meal. When people come, I wanna make them foods that I know they're gonna feel loved and welcomed by.
Food is about showing love. Food is about respecting and showing yourself love in the way that you nourish yourself first. We nurture through food. My wish for the world is when you're in a restaurant, now you can spot who's married and who's not, and for how long. My wish for the world is that you can't. That everybody's passionate and everybody's loving and everybody is an amazing role model of respect and honour for each other. That's my wish for the world.
That's my wish too. That's my wish. And I hope everyone that's watching, I hope that you know that your wish will come true, can come true. And I hope that today's show on Dishin'It, Us Dishin'It, has inspired you to try something new. If anything, in the pursuit of all of your dreams, to remember always to celebrate love and embrace diversity. Thanks for watching us on Dishin'It.